Morning everyone. We're back to working on the new tender. This is day 3. Today is pretty easy. We're just going to bolt down the motor. I like to put bolts through the transom onto the motor. It just keeps people, doesn't keep them from stealing it, but certainly makes it harder to steal the outboard. And the other thing we're going to do is install a planing wing that goes on the back of the outboard. We've had this thing for like 4 years. We've carried it everywhere we go. We've carried it with us. We've never had a chance to really put it on, or at least didn't make the time to put it on. So today's the day. The planing wing will be installed. So first off, the holes that I'm going to drill through the transom, put on some nuts and bolts. Put a new zinc on here. Just broke that last bolt. Let's see what the instructions are here. Center the wing on the top of the cavitation plate. Move it forward until there's no further move. Avoid drilling into the trim tabs or anodes. Use the sight gauge. Blah blah blah. Drill the holes. The rubber washers on the bottom. Okay, sounds easy enough. Let's get to it. Okay, so those tasks are done for the day. I was invited out to dinner over at one of the cruisers' boats, John and Paula. Very nice people. John actually has a local business here. He does a shuttle landing experience. He's a pilot. He's got a Cessna 310, and he takes people up to, I think he said 16,000, something like that, and then does the same approach that the shuttle makes down to Cape Canaveral. And maybe 6,000 feet per minute descent rate. Sounds pretty cool. I'll put a link to his YouTube channel in the description. So I'm off to there for dinner. Go back on board the boat here. This whole area in Florida is full of, what do they call them? Snow ants, or not snow ants? I can't remember what they're called. I'm gonna have to look it up. Anyway, there's these little tiny ants. They're everywhere. Whatever you put down on the ground gets attacked immediately by all these ants. Just becomes a nightmare in the boat. I've got bites all over me from these ants. Just part of the life, I guess. Here's my aloe vera, growing good. And this boat back here, this trawler, that is John and Paula's boat. And that's where I'm going for lunch. I'll check in after that. Okay, so we're still waiting for the marina to put my boat in for a test, so I figured I'd do a couple other chores. This light up top here, this is the navigation white light. This light up top is called the anchor light. And when you're at anchor, this needs to be on all night long. It tells boats that you're stationary and that you're at anchor. So this bulb runs out quite a bit. One of those constant little maintenance items that needs to be done. So the next little item that I'm going to install while I wait is this thing. It is one of those quick spin things for the steering wheel. I do have 2 motors, and I maneuver on the motors and the transmissions back and forth, so I very seldom need to crank the wheel over. But occasionally I need to give it a crank if we see a turtle go by or a shark go by or something we want to spin around quickly to go see. Rather than wait for the motors to unspool, I can just crank it around. So let's go install this up in the flybridge. Not the easiest climb to make with one hand, I guess. Okay, so here is the steering wheel on the flybridge, and let's install this fun thing. Okay, as you can probably tell by now, when you own a boat and boating full time, every day there's something to do. Every day there's either maintenance to do or upgrades to do, and you really have to enjoy that sort of thing. boating might not be for you. And it looks like it's going to be way too big for the steering wheel. Big. Too big. Some of you might remember from a couple of vlogs ago, I was installing solar panels and I bought all those bungees. One of them was defective and broke. Instead of returning the broken one, I decided to keep it just in case I could use the rubber for something else. And so far I've used it on 2 other projects and we're down to just this little bit. That's all that's left, and we're about to use some of it again. Now, my Allen wrench, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Funny, I say that every time, and every time I go the wrong way. Oh, by the way, I met this couple that have just sold their house, moved on to their motor sailor full-time, so they're now full-time liveaboards. And I have to tell you, their motor sailor is one of the nicest boats I've ever seen. Just a beauty. Kind of gets me tempted to switch over to a motor sailor. Okay, here we go. Let's cut this piece off without cutting my fingers off. Which may not be as easy as it sounds. Okay, that's in there. Job done. Let's test her out. Oh yeah. Yes. Oh yeah, that's a lot easier. Party time. Okay, you may have noticed in that last scene that the dinghy got put in the water. I did take it for a little test drive just to make sure things are running. I'm going to save the dinghy test for tomorrow and we'll actually take it somewhere special. Either we'll try to head over to Cape Canaveral or maybe down to Coca Beach. And it might even be really rough tomorrow, so we could be jumping waves. Out on the scooter, enjoy this beautiful evening here in Florida. See what kind of trouble I can get into. So thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.